Hey crafty friends, it's Josie. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today we have a fun little project and a little project share. This for me was the first thing that I got into with my new kit from Chic. And believe me, there's a lot of stuff in the kit, but the napkin caught my eye. This is a napkin. Look, it's beautiful. But as a crafter, I had never worked with a napkin before. So when I saw it in there, I thought, oh boy, I have no idea what I'm doing with this napkin, but I need to do something because I want to use every part of the kit that Lynette sent to me. So, of course, I hopped onto YouTube, looked up some different videos, tried some different things. So I'm going to share a few. So this was the first thing that I did with it. I had some tea-dyed envelopes that I had done a while ago, nice and crinkly. And I just decoupaged, I hope I said that right, some of the napkin on there. I did a little bit of stamping. I did a cute little quote on there, a little bit of music paper. I mean, it was nothing groundbreaking or spectacular, but I love how it turned out. And I just put a little something on the back because sometimes when it's clipped into our journals, this is what you're gonna see, and I wanted it to be pretty. So there's that. I did another envelope, try some different technique. I did a little bit of stamping on this one with the flowers. I used, it's just a little sticker, but it looks like a stamp, so I tried that out. Got the music paper because it's so pretty, and then I used some of the napkin in the corners, and on the back, actually this is one of my faux wax seal. It's just made from glue stick from a glue gun. And I don't know if you can see it, but I pressed a cold penny in there to get kind of the coin thing. So yeah, so I've got those. Then I tried, this is made from a cereal bag liner. And I love the way it feels. And it's gonna be super handy for my journal, my Cheaply Chic journal, once I'm finished with all the extra decor on there. Here it is. This is my journal. And so my little envelope is a little bit bigger than the journal, but I don't mind. I just think it's sticking out there adds a little interest. I'm probably gonna do some page tabs in here anyway. And I love having tuck spots. I am a woman of many ongoing lists. I always have appointment cards and whatnot. So yeah, can tuck it in there. So that's napkin in there. So that was a big part of it. But was I done? No, I still had more. I still have more. So this was the gift that keeps on giving, and I'm determined to use it all. So next, I saw some of my fellow design team people for Cheaply Chic, as well as Lynette herself. They made Masterboards, and I, again, have never done that. And so I was looking at them, and they're quite large, and I didn't really want to take on that size of a project because I had a lot of other stuff on the go. So I decided, why do they have to be large? You know what? They don't. So that's what I'm going to show you today, how to make a mini masterboard. So for some of my subscribers that don't know what a masterboard is, you just kind of glop on a little of this, a little of that until you think it looks good. And then you cut this apart. So I can use it to make tags, pockets in my journals. You can chop it up and use little bits of it as a focal point on a page. Really, it's endless. You can do whatever you want with it. You could use this whole thing as a pocket, because what I used were some tea-dyed old kind of index tabs from a recipe box that I purchased at the thrift store. It actually houses all of my scraps. So this was the box it came in. I don't need them, and I've been slowly working them into my junk journals, but not as masterboards. So let's get started. I think once you see how easy it goes, you're gonna be excited to make one. So first we just need some, this is parchment, baking paper, because I don't want glue stuck all over my desk. For the glue, I used a mix of Elmer's white glue, about 2 parts white glue, 1 part water, just to kind of make it a little bit runny. You could use Mod Podge if you wanted to, but this is what I had, so I like to make do with what I have, especially for these videos, because I truly want you to see that you can work with whatever you have. You do not need to go running out to buy the latest thing, which that was my mindset when I first started. And now that I'm kind of back to basics, I don't buy new stuff unless I really, really know that I'm going to use it. Also, when we're finished with our mini masterboard, I put these together so that I can make some, I don't know, bookmarks, tags, I'm not sure. But I want to decoupage at least a couple of these as well. And what they are is just package toppers from some 6x6 papers that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I really like craft paper, so I didn't want to throw them out. I couldn't quite figure out how I was going to cover all that. And then I had a moment of genius when I realized that you can just turn it inside out and you can then cover it with whatever you want. So we're going to try decoupage on there. So anyway, let's just get started. So for this project, I have my napkin. I've also gathered up a whole pile of just scraps. So I think I'm going to start with some of the bigger size scraps, and then we can always layer on top. So you just take some of your thin glue and I just use an old brush. Sometimes it loses its bristles, but I don't have the heart to give it the boot because it's good for projects like these that, you know, they're messy. You don't want to be ruining your good art supplies. So now I'm just gonna slap this on here. The nice part about these masterboards is if it overhangs, it doesn't matter. Once these were dry, which this one I used some thicker paper on, so it's pretty tough. But anyway, I just went and trimmed around the edges when I was finished. So we're not going to worry too much about that. So as I'm sticking down, I get glue on there, and then, like, let's say I want to put this on top, well then I'll put glue on top, and then when I'm done, I just put a nice layer of this thin glue right over the whole thing. So just gonna get some on this other half. Now, some of the little masterboards that I just showed you, they're a little bit warped, which is what happens when you use just regular white glue. But don't worry about that, because tonight I'm just gonna stuff those underneath a big heavy book, and away you go. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Got an old atlas that I tore apart a while ago, and it's the gift that also keeps on giving because I can't seem to use it all, which is okay because it goes on everything. I just have some brown paper, and I salvaged all this when I hosted the book fair at our school this year, because all the book boxes came with scads and scads of this brown paper inside, and it actually works really good for journal pages, for projects like this. You can write on it. It was too good for the recycle bin. Okay. If you get a little bit of wrinkling in there, that's cool too, because it just kind of gives it a little bit more texture. I saw some of the ladies making masterboards actually use texture paste, and they put that on there, but I don't have texture paste, and I think mine turned out pretty good. So now, put a little bit of this music paper. I like the torn edges. Another thing that I saw was some people cut out like flowers and whatever, and they'll paste those on top, but I'm not going to do anything like that because I want it to be a very neutral background, and then depending on which project I'm working on, I can add extra things to it later. So if I'm making a tag for a floral journal, I can add some flowers or whatever I choose. I really like this paper, and the scrap was tiny, but I couldn't quite bear throwing it out. So see, it all just kind of sticks on top of each other. And then I also have, these are tea bags. I dumped all the tea out, dried the tea bag, and it looks really neat when you put it over top of something. So maybe we need a few little, how about some of this? I have some of this kind of accounting paper. Put here. Oh, see the color on that paper is running a little bit, but it doesn't matter, because I'm going to cover it all with a napkin anyway. Now I have this paper. I'm going to stick here in the top. So, oh, don't want it to be quite that crooked though. So there. And this is quite forgiving. If you need to move something, it really isn't very hard. So there. I think this corner could use a little something. So I'll put this little strip. This is such a great way to really use up your scraps. And if you're into, you know, journaling, junk journaling, you're probably going to become, or have already become, an avid recycler. So nothing hits my garbage can beside my desk until it is done. Put a little of the brown paper here. And then I think I'm going to call it quits for adding any more paper. I'm going to just put a little glue on this music sheet, and then I can chop that off once it's dry. Okay, so we've done what we could for adding paper. So now let's use up some of this napkin. And the amazing thing about this is, if you really think about it, like at the end of the season, I don't know about you, but at my grocery store, which is, we have an extra foods, and that's kind of similar to Superstore. A lot of times you can get a package of napkins for like, what, 90 cents or less. I've seen them for like 33 cents. So when you think that for 33 cents, how many items you could make from a package of 25 napkins, just blows your mind. So now I got the napkin on there. You want to be a little gentle because it is a napkin, so it can tear. Because I've done decoupage with tissue paper. It's not quite as fragile as tissue paper, but it's pretty darn close. So there. Maybe I should put some napkin over here too. Let's use the napkin. I had so much fun playing around with this. I love learning new things, and this was just great. And I will be using this technique, I'm sure, in the future to do other projects. You can even use the white stuff. I mean, it doesn't I don't know how to I'll just put some on and then you can see what it does. It doesn't cover per se, but it creates kind of like a transparent, you know, it'll dull it a little bit in a cool way. So there we go with that. And now I'm just gonna put this on so that you can see what it does. So you're still gonna be able to see through it, but it just makes everything kind of take a little bit of a back seat. And it just gives it a little bit more oomph, if that's a thing. So there we go, see, and then when it's dry, we'll just trim around the outer edge and we have a truly usable piece of art here. So I'm gonna put this off to the side to dry, and then I'll get busy on the bookmark. So, like I said, this was just a bag topper, but rather than go into the trash, I thought it would be fun to see what we can make with this, because you get these all the time, right? Like they're on everything. So first I'll put a little bit of graph paper, and I am not concerned about that hole at all because we're gonna cover it up with paper and maybe even paint on it. I haven't decided. Let me see. Oh, look at this. Let's use this. This is a book page from my junk journal collection kit, which I believe there's still a few left in my Etsy shop. So if you want to get in on that, scoot over there. So for this project, I would do one side of the bookmark and then let that dry, and then choose if you want to do the other side, or maybe if you want to leave one side just with the craft paper. That's entirely up to you. Music paper looks beautiful on anything. So let's get some of that on there, and then we're gonna cover it all with, you guessed it, the napkin from Chic. So let's get this on. Maybe should have torn that upper edge. Oh well, maybe we'll put something else there. What else have I got here? I just kind of grabbed a handful of my scraps because that is the best way to just get it done. Doesn't have to be perfect. Why waste time hemming and hawing over what you want on there when this just kind of gets rid of the guesswork? You just get down and get busy. Okay, so here's our napkin. So you just peel the layers apart is all you do with the napkin. So I'm wondering, I think I'll trim it a little bit. I should be able to squeeze 2 bookmarks out of here. Okay, so let's get that. We'll leave some of that plant sticking out. I'm just gonna go a little to the side so that you can still see all the cool layers on my bookmark. And then once we trim this, like, it is going to be gorgeous. It really is. You're gonna be so surprised. So I'm just gonna leave that to dry, and then I'll show you the results. Okay, so I'm back. Our little mini masterboard is all dry, and so is our tag or bookmark or whatever. This was one of these packaging toppers that I had then turned inside out. This is where we decoupaged, and I just went ahead off camera and backed it with a little bit of the book page that has some greenery on there. So I was thinking with this, might be cool to maybe paint over it with a sheer type paint, something sparkly maybe. And I don't like how this one butterfly is upside down, so I thought even if I were to put something like that on there, very cute. Maybe punch a hole in the top, put a cute tassel on. I mean, possibilities. So that one's done. And then this is our masterboard now that it's all dry. It's a little bit warpy, but that's okay for the purposes that I'm gonna use it for. And I can also just put it under something heavy for a little while. So I went ahead and grabbed just some floral type stamps. Like I said earlier, I'm not gonna put any stickers or anything on here until, you know, I've decided what I'm gonna do with it and I cut it up and I'm ready to use it, because I want it to go with whatever project that I'm gonna use it in. Some of this will go in my journal from Chic, but I highly doubt I'll use all of the masterboards because this is the third one. So I'm just using like a vintagey brown neutral color. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. I just kind of want to give a hint, you know, layers, so that there's always something there for the eye. Add a little bit of interest. Cute little birdhouse I'll put here. Oh, and I have a butterfly. Maybe I'll stick that there. So you can see now all the different papers that we put on there. We've got napkin. There's so much depth to such a simple, quick and easy project. I also grabbed, this is just a little tube of gold paint that came with one of my daughter's crafting kits, and I had never used it up, and I thought that might look cute on here, so I'm just gonna maybe put some on some of this white so that it's not quite so stark. So just gonna grab it right out of the tube. My brush is just a little watered down. Just there, little texture in there, little shimmer. I don't know if the camera shows how shiny this paint is, but it is, so it's just gonna add a little bit of interest on there. Make a few things pop. Cover up some of this atlas just a little bit, just so you have to really look to see what's there, because that's what makes these so fun, is right off the bat you're not really sure what it is. Collage. And yeah, so there we go. Cheaply Chic sent me one napkin. I ended up with 2 beautiful envelopes. Whoops. My little bookmark. The masterboard we made together. And the 2 that I did off camera. These ones I just slabbed some purple paint on. This one has a little bit of green. And that's it. So good luck with your projects. Thank you for watching, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.